Hey everyone, it's Colin from High Caliper Growing, and today I wanted to talk to you about a really cool product that's quickly growing in popularity, and that is the Smart Pot Compost Sak. First I'll talk to you about a few of the major benefits of a Smart Pot Compost Sak compared to other composters that are out there, and then we'll kind of go over how to use it, what exactly you can compost, what not to compost, things like that. First of all, there's three major benefits to using a Smart Pot Compost Sak as opposed to your hard plastic composters that are out there on the market. One of the biggest ones is affordability. So your hard plastic composters, that lots of them have a crank that you can kind of turn them, or latches on the side, big heavy duty latches on the side to open it and close it. Those can range anywhere from over $100. I mean, I've seen them up to $400. So they're really expensive, and the problem with those things is they really don't last very long. I've seen countless videos where people have been kind of raving how their composter broke after just a season. You know, either those heavy duty latches on the sides broke off, or your hinges on the back broke, the crank, the stand that holds that big heavy drum will break as well. So you get a lot of issues with those expensive ones. The cost on the Smart Pot Compost Sak is right around $40. So you really can't beat that price. Furthermore, it's going to last longer than those hard plastic ones. You're going to get a lot of seasons out of these fabric bags than you are any of those hard plastic composters that are out there. So another huge benefit of the Smart Pot Compost Sak is efficiency. Now, it's 100-gallon capacity, which means that it can make right around 12 cubic feet of compost in a single season. It's kind of hard to visualize how much that is, so I'm going to update this video kind of as fall rolls around to show you the size of the leaf piles that I'm putting in these things. It's almost like Santa's magic bag. I mean, you put the stuff in there, and within a day or two, it's shrunk down to nothing. You can't even tell that you'd put all that waste in there, and you just keep filling it, and it keeps shrinking down. So the next huge benefit of using Smart Pot Compost Sak is the convenience of it. Hard plastic composters are often really bulky and heavy. Smart Pots is extremely lightweight. Not only that, but you can fold it up if you're not using it and put it away. You can wash it if it gets anything built up on the sides. You can completely wash it off. It has a 30-inch diameter opening, so you can actually just, if you collect your yard clippings in say a trash can, one of those plastic trash cans, you can just open the top of that sack up and dump it right in. So the third and biggest benefit, in my opinion, of using the Smart Pot Compost Sak is efficiency. Not only does it hold 100 gallons, make 12 cubic feet of compost, which is a lot more than you get in a lot of those hard plastic composters, but it aerates 360 degrees around the sides of these sacks. Air is one of the four major elements to successful composting: air, moisture, green, and brown, or nitrogen carbon. Now, because this sack aerates 360 degrees around the sides, it is a perfect environment for microbial activity. Meaning that your compost inside that sack is going to break down at a very fast rate. Also, because of the porous nature of the fabric, it allows for water to pass through. You don't get too much moisture built up inside these compost sacks, and yet it also will retain moisture because of all the material that can be kind of piled in there. You know, it'll hold some moisture in the center pretty well. Because it aerates so well, you actually do not have to turn a Smart Pot Compost Sak. At the end of the season, you will have a couple inches of uncomposted material at the very top if you've been continuously loading it, but right beneath it, and I'll show you here in a second, we'll get into one of these compost sacks, but right beneath that 2 inches on the very top is just completely dark, rich, healthy compost that you can use for your garden. So those are some of the major benefits of the Smart Pot Compost Sak, and there's plenty of other ones out there. You can actually use them for different things. People plant potatoes in them. I've heard of people doing vermiculture, worm farms in these. So it's a really great product, and also a really inexpensive product. But now let's get inside in one of these composters and kind of see what it is we've been composting, and we'll kind of talk about what it is you can compost and what not to. This one has actually been composting for, I think, close to 9 months now. I haven't been adding very much to the top of it for a while, and you can see that it still kind of needs to break down a little bit more on the top, but all of the rest of this has started to turn into some really dark, rich compost that's going to be excellent to either to top dress, or I actually like to just kind of mix it into everything else that all the other medium that I'm putting into my Smart Pots, and that helps keep them fed throughout the whole season. But yeah, this has actually turned into some really dark, rich, healthy compost. There's worms that have made their way in here as well, and you know that's a really good sign. If you have worms in your compost, you know that it's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So now let's talk a little bit about what you should put in your compost sack and the other materials that you should leave out of it. Typically a good compost pile has a 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio, and the easiest way to achieve that ratio is by doing 2 parts brown to 1 parts green. Now, your brown wastes are going to be things that have a really low moisture content, so your materials like your wood chips, dried leaves, straw, newspaper, dryer lint even, things like that are going to be your browns. And then your greens are going to be your high moisture content materials such as dead plant material, anything. Most of your kitchen scraps are going to be considered green. Coffee grounds are also considered to be green. Vegetable scraps, fruits, seeds, anything of that nature is going to be a green material. The easiest way that we save our kitchen scraps is we'll put some kind of a container with a lid right on the kitchen counter, and then anytime somebody makes coffee or you know, has a banana peel or anything like that, we'll just throw it in here. Once you fill that up, just take it outside to the garden and throw it in the compost sack. Just because you're supposed to achieve a 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen ratio doesn't mean that you need to pay really close attention to the materials that you're composting. It's fairly easy to just tell by kind of looking at your compost as you throw it in there. If you need either green materials with some more moisture content or some more brown to kind of sop up some of that moisture. If it ever starts smelling like an ammonia or sour at all, then you know that you need to add something else. So just so long as you have that real sweet smell to your compost and it's not too wet or too dry, it'll compost great. All right, guys, well, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more ways to grow good things. All right, see you next time, guys.